Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode of James Bond Bitcoin Live. Hashtag Bitcoin Live 0069. If I'm right, hopefully I'm right. Hashtag suspended. So, anyways, let me go over the notes section real quick before I go on to the show. Let's see here. What do we have? I have a link to Bitcoin Gold because, as far as I know, they have still not gone live with their mainnet. But you should be able to split your coin now. Should be. I haven't split mine on Coinomi yet because what's the point? There's no mainnet, so I can't even use them. And then I got all the potential hard forks. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows these days? I was expecting Segwit2x to have a hard fork, but they canceled today. So they supposedly canceled. That's the word everyone's using. Canceled. But I'll use a different word. So anyways, Bitcoin Silver. I have Bitcoin Silver linked to the bitcointalk.org forum. I'm not sure if that's really going to happen now, considering Segwit2x has been suspended. And then it's time to stop meme. Oh, love that meme. And then Bitcoin Platinum. I'm not sure if that's going to happen because Segwit2x has been suspended. I have a link to Bitcoin Uranium. Not sure if that's going to happen either now because Bitcoin 2x has been suspended. I have a list of airdrops. Now, I have not gone to the site since October 29th, but I believe they update every day because I know people want their airdrops because they would like money falling from the sky. I would too, but I know that's not realistic. And then SegWit Charts. I have a link to SegWit Charts. Last time I looked at it, it's at 10%. So after dropping to 8%, it's only gone back up to 10%. So I'm not sure what's happening with it. It's kind of stalling. Hopefully with the Segwit2x hard fork being suspended, maybe we can move on and pump up Segwit addresses and get those transactions going. I have a link to CoinCodex. If you're tired of looking at Bitconnect banner ads or just tired of looking at the Bitconnect coin market cap on CoinMarketCap, use CoinCodex. You won't see Bitconnect at all. And I haven't been seeing any banner ads or any banner ads, especially Bitconnect banner ads. Another one is LivecoinWatch. LivecoinWatch is another one that does not have Bitconnect listed on their market list. And you won't see Bitconnect banner ads on those as well. So I'm going to get to the meat of the show. Sorry for the late start. I was on 21 Million show. I was given a link. I said, why not? I'm assuming they're going to talk about Segwit2x being canceled. Try to be very courteous on the show, as always. Rocky Palmetto, AcU5, Ken Bozak was all on that show. I didn't leave a link on here, but I will put a link on after the show. So if you see this show later, if you see this live stream later, it'll be in the notes section. Supposedly Gabriel was supposed to be there, but he couldn't make it for some reason. Anyways, had a nice chat with Satoshi Dan. Great guy. I'll try to put a link on his channel, and so that way you can follow him. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the matter. Segwit2x should be canceled. Stephen Parr. This is a Medium post he wrote before it actually got canceled. And so Stephen Parr, co-founder and CEO of BitPay, Bitcoin Payment Services, November 8th. So it's kind of interesting. He writes this Medium article. Segwit2x should be canceled. Either he didn't know, or he wasn't a part of the meeting, or he did know. And this was his way of letting everybody else know. Anyways, if you didn't know already, which you probably already do, Segwit2x hard fork, the one that's supposed to happen on November 16th, block number whatever, temporarily suspended is what I'm going to say. Temporarily suspended. And I'll get to that just a little bit later. I don't think we've seen the last of these people. My issue is because they never came to the battle. They never came to the battlefield to fight. So how can you claim a victory? I mean, you could say it's a victory, but it's a hollow victory. Because they're still out there. They're still in force. Some of them are, well, just let me get on to the thing here. Next to, underneath that in the notes section is Bitcoin Segwit2x, Segwit2x Final Step, posted 6 hours ago. That's when I posted it here, or that's when I copied it onto here, by Mike Belshe, Mike at bitco.com, Wednesday, November 8th. That was the actual mailing list. Supposedly, Segwit2x was canceled. Supposedly. We'll see. I'll get into that just a little bit later. Right below, underneath that, there seems to be a reply to that letter, that mailing list. Bitcoin Segwit2x, Segwit2x Final Steps by bitPico, or bitPico at iCloud.com. I don't know how real this is, but this is the reply, and this is the part where it says 30% will continue. So strange how things have flipped. Supposedly, it was going to be 80% Segwit2x and 20% legacy chain. Now, all of a sudden, the coin has flipped. In other words, now it's 30% Segwit2x and 70% legacy chain. Interesting times here. Okay, so that's the meat of this show. The rest of the links here in the notes section. Why has ICOindex? Oh, this is part of the meat of the show. Why has ICOindex labeled Bitconnect as an outright fraud? So I'll go over that. And then now after this is collect your free Bitcoin gold coins with Coinomi. That's on their support desk. A link to their support desk explaining how you can split your Bitcoin gold from your Bitcoins if you had Coinomi, if you had Bitcoins on your Coinomi wallet. October 24th, the day of the snapshot. Underneath that is, what is Bitconnect and why have we decided to distance ourselves from it? This is the blog from CoinCodex. I'm going to leave that in there just because I want to. And then below that is James Bond Bitcoin Live 0017. That's where I had 3 Bitconnectors, 2 of them rage quitting. One of them was actually stupid enough to stick around to the end to tell you where you can find them. And then Crypto Blood was the unbiased control part of he was a control guest. He's not control finance, but he was just a guest, not part of Bitconnect. And, I didn't incentivize him to, everything he said of his own free will. And he basically said, those people were involved in a Ponzi. All right. So if you watch that live stream, Bitconnectors think everything's a Ponzi. That's how they rationalize everything. So If Bitconnect is a Ponzi, then McDonald's is a Ponzi. Then the stock market's a Ponzi. Social Security is a Ponzi. Your grocery store is a Ponzi. All businesses are Ponzi's. So it makes sense for them to be in Bitconnect. That's how their mind works. All right, so I have a video. I got two videos. I got a video, how to wear suspenders and why you might want to. Theme of the show today. And then I got the song of the show shared by Brian, Queen. We are the champions. Sorry about that. I'm not a good singer. Anyways, yes, Queen. That's right. I said Queen. And so there's a song for that, for all you people out there who are happy to see Segwit2x canceled. Everyone's using canceled. I'm not too sure about that. I think more like temporarily suspended, but history will tell the truth. So you all can listen to the music video of Queen with We Are the Champions and celebrate. I've seen this too many times myself to really take this seriously. And then, of course, I got the link to hashtag yes2x63. And this may be the last hashtag yes2x you're going to see. I'm going to leave all those videos up there. I don't have a problem with it. I was never for hashtag yes2x. I was never for, Segwit2x. The whole point was do memes, all right? Do memes, social media, social engineering. Do they have an effect on the cryptocurrency space? And, it's not scientific. I didn't do this in any scientific way. I have to say the people who were already against Segwit2x were already making memes, and they would have already probably make memes. I don't think it makes a difference. I think people are already on the side, and making these memes is more of a virtual signal. So you're just signaling to your other peers where you stand. Everyone's just following each other blindly, but not knowing why you're following. There's still a lack of education, and anyone who's, well, why are you in Bitcoin? What keeps you here, right? So far, all I've seen is the reason why people are involved in Bitcoin is because they can make money. But that's all right. That's what got me involved. Anyways, I also have a link to Pot of Gold, the Bitcoin Pot of Gold. I have the donational address, Pot of Gold donation address. It's a SegWit address. Please donate so everyone can have fun in trying to crack that code. Of course, I have a link to Hiroshi Shibe Space Odyssey Network. And I also have a link to Skype, yes, for motivation. Oh, I've also added Bitcoin and Coffee. Very dedicated person. Makes a show every morning, except Saturdays and Sundays. He makes a show every morning, except Saturdays and Sundays. It'd be nice if he makes some on Saturdays and Sundays. You think he would have enough time, but maybe he works on the weekend as well. Not sure. But there's a link to him. Please follow his channel, subscribe to him, watch his videos. Anyways, let's see who's all on the live stream. Probably not a lot of people. It's late. I apologize. Yes, very late. Anyways, everyone's probably all partied out from whatever they're doing. So here's my meme. Temporarily suspended. Yes, temporarily suspended. Hashtag yes2x is temporarily suspended. Will I stop doing hashtag yes2x? Probably. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check some other sources here just to make sure. I'm going to check the Crypto Daily. Let me see. crypto daily to see what the activation, if it's still activating, if it still has that countdown. Well, maybe nobody informed cryptodaily.net because they still have a countdown. The countdown's still going. Makes you wonder, is this real or is this fake? Anyways, let's continue on here. Oh, yes, the Bitcoin pot of gold. Please donate to the Bitcoin pot of gold. The Bitcoin pot of gold here. Scan the QR code on the left and donate to the pot of gold. The QR code on the right is the encrypted private key. If you can crack that code, go ahead and try to sweep those keys. And the QR code in the bottom is a link to Yellow Fever for You, who gave me this idea. Anyways, there's my little plugin. All right, first of all, let's look at this here. Segwit2x should be canceled the day that this guy wrote this Medium post, the day it was canceled. Amazing. What are the odds on that? What are the odds on that? Anyways, he goes on to tell you why it should be canceled. Seems like everyone has come to their senses and realized that doing this hard fork at this time is, very dangerous. It would damage the community, not enough consensus. They would have to stop service temporarily, which would damage the image of Bitcoin. So Stephen Parr writes this Medium article today, or yesterday, I should say. And what do you know? He writes an update right here. Gives you a link. Several companies, including Bitmain, a large miner, have suspended Segwit2x efforts. So it took a very large miner who was able to actually stop this hard fork to finally pull out of the agreement. Well, I don't know if they pulled out of the agreement. I think they temporarily suspended the hard fork or postponed the hard fork. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to be objective. I want to be real. But until November 16th comes and goes and nothing happens, you have to stay on guard. All right? Don't trust what other people have to say. Verify. And the only way you can verify this is when November 16th passes and nothing happens, it's verified. I'm just saying. Anyways, let's take a look at that real quick. Okay, so here it is. This is supposedly the mailing list. There's a link for it. And I'll just quickly read it. Segwit2x effort began on May with a simple purpose: to increase the block size and improve Bitcoin scalability. At the time, the Bitcoin community was in crisis after nearly 3 years of heavy debate, and consensus for Segwit seemed like a distant mirage, with only 30% support among miners. Segwit2x found its first success in August as it broke the deadlock and quickly led to Segwit's successful activation. Since that time, the team shifted its efforts to phase 2 of the project, a 2 megabyte block size increase. Our goal was always been a smooth upgrade of Bitcoin. Although we strongly believe in the need for a larger block size, there is something we believe is even more important: keeping the community together. Okay? All right. Unfortunately, it is clear that we have not built sufficient consensus for a clean block size upgrade at this time. Continuing on the current path could divide the community and be a setback to Bitcoin's growth. This was never the goal of SegWit2x. As fees rise on the blockchain, we believe it will eventually become obvious that on-chain capacity increases are necessary. When that happens, we hope the community will come together and find a solution, possibly with the block size increase. Until then, we are suspending our plans for the upcoming 2 megabyte upgrade. This paragraph in particular stands out. This is me talking now. This particular paragraph stands out. Okay. It just stands out. All right. Anyways, I'm going to continue on reading the last parts here. We want to thank everyone that contributed constructively to SegWit2x, whether you were in favor or against. Your effort are what makes Bitcoin great. Bitcoin remains the greatest form of money mankind has ever seen, and we remain dedicated to protecting and fostering its growth worldwide. Supposedly signed by Mike Belshe, Vince Casares, Jihan Wu, Jeff Garzak, Peter Smith, and Eric Voorhees. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Okay. My concern is this particular paragraph right here. That is my concern. That's why I'm not giving up so easy. Be vigilant. Don't trust, verify. 7 more days. 7 more days until that day comes and passes is a time I will finally relax. Because until then, as far as I know, nothing has changed. Just because your adversary, your opponent, doesn't come to the battlefield to fight you does not mean you've won the war. Or even you can't even really claim victory because there was no battle fought. I would have claimed victory, or I would consider it a victory, if your opponent, your adversary, your counterpart came to the battlefield and you fought a battle and you were victorious in that battle. So if the hard fork did happen and it was definitive, what chain was the most longest accumulated difficulty, definitive, proven, locked in history on the blockchain, this would be final. This would be over with. You're not going to get another attack. You're not going to get another attempt. That was it. You only got one shot. Because your opponent, your adversary, never came to the battlefield in the first place, that means your opponent, your adversary, is still out there. And what are they waiting for? They are waiting for a more better time, a better situation, because they're hoping that the community will come together and find a solution. All right? Because it's obvious that on-chain capacity increases are necessary. So they're just waiting for the opportune time to their advantage to come to the battlefield. Just It's not advantageous to them right now. So if you think it went away, maybe it didn't. Who knows? There's been many attempts. And so go ahead and read it for yourself. Remember this and let the time pass, and we'll see if this really happened. Okay, so here, this article here is ICOindex.com. This was shared to me by Skive. He made a video of it today. If you want to watch his video, go to his channel, watch it. But I'm going to share it as well. What's it say? It says, why has ICOindex labeled Bitconnect as an outright fraud? Well, because maybe Bitconnect is a fraud. And so it just basically talks about why they think, first of all, Bitconnect came to them wanting them to advertise. After ICOindex did some digging around in their own investigation, they could not and would not and will not allow Bitconnect to be advertised on their platform or through their newsletter, because ICOindex believes Bitconnect is an outright fraud. Outright fraud. So go ahead and read this. It is hilarious. It's funny. Listen, people, if you can't figure out that Bitconnect is an outright Ponzi scheme, then go ahead and put your life savings into Bitconnect. Go ahead. I mean, don't let me stop you. I don't want to prevent you from becoming a billionaire, wealthy beyond your dreams. Let's just go over it real quick. I'll go over some of their material here. Characteristics of a cryptocurrency scam, Bitconnect. Communication focuses mainly on money promising guaranteed results. Check. Lack of information about team members' history. Check. MLM scheme, that's multi-level marketing scheme and referral program are involved. Check. The white paper has very low quality or is missing. Check. There is no new technology being created. Check. The business model is not sustainable. Check. There is no or weak roadmap. Check. All right, so that's what ICOindex. Now, this is an ICO indexing company. They make newsletters for ICOs. Even these guys won't touch a Bitconnect. What does that say about Bitconnect? And so some videos here. Some more videos here. Here's the multi-level scheme and referral marketing program that's involved. And man, this looks like a triangle. What's another word for a triangle? A pyramid. This looks like a pyramid. Oh boy, this is just very funny. Oh, here's the beautiful part. Let's do some math to see why Bitconnect is not sustainable at all. There's a little math equation. A is the future value of the investment loan, including interest. P is the principal investment amount, the initial deposit or loan amount. R is the daily interest rate in the decimal. And T is the number of days the money is invested or borrowed for. So if you take this formula and you plug in these numbers down here, that you're probably seeing some Bitconnect marketing material right here, this one right here. We'll assume A being $10,010. There's your interest, and there's your percentage and whatnot. To T, which is 12 after 120 days, right here, which is on how they came up with 12 on there. But let's just figure out what they came up with, what ICOindex came up with. Okay, so after 1 year, compounded 0.25% daily interest and compounded 40% monthly interest provides $1,411. I'm sorry, $1,411,789. Wow. Why wouldn't you invest $10,010? You would be a millionaire in 1 year. How about this one? After 2 years, all right, after 2 years, 199, well, I'll just say almost $2 million. Almost $2 million. Why would you not put $10,010 into BitConnect? Why would you? You would make 200, I'm sorry, not 2 million, $200 million in 2 years. Why? You would absolutely be like an idiot not to put money in BitConnect. Or you would be a complete idiot to put money into BitConnect. I'm not sure which one. I mean, I'll let you all decide. So how about this? How much money would you make after 3 years? 28, is that a billion? $28 billion? Yeah, I think that's $28 billion. So if you did this for 3 years, you would be a 28 billion, you would be a billionaire. Who would not want to put money into BitConnect? This is a clear, unsustainable Ponzi scheme written by CoinICO. Okay, this is what CoinICO has come to their conclusion. Anyways, go ahead and read it for yourself. If you don't agree with CoinICO, why don't you go ahead and write them? Let them know what you really think. Oh, hello everyone. Let's see who's in the chat. Dual overhead Camness. Good to see you. And Roja Shive Space Odyssey Network. How you doing? So anyways, that's that. The link to this article written by ICOindex is in the notes section. Go ahead and read it for yourself. Why would you not invest in BitConnect? Look at all the money you would make. Okay, so this is BitConnect. I'm sorry, not BitConnect. Bitcoin Segwit2x, Segwit2x Final Steps. Someone actually, I think, made a reply to the cancellation or the suspension of Segwit2x hard fork. So I don't know if this is real, but let me just read it out for you. We are carrying out the fork regardless, as everything is set in motion. Backing down the difficulty right now is a strategy. Wonder why 30% network hash rate disappeared? It's ours, the miners that will continue what is set in motion. A handful of humans cannot stop what they have no control over. Sent from my spaceship. Now, maybe this is a troll, maybe this is a joke, but just in case, I'm going to check the difficulty. So let's check it out. Bitcoin difficulty. So let's check that out. Let's see what I come up with. How you doing, Katrina Holiday? Let me see here. All right, so I'm going to check it out. Let me see, difficult history chart. Let's just check out big blockchain info, just because it's easy. Let's see if there was a reduction in hashing power and difficulty. I don't see anything indicating any difficulty to today, or well, that's the 7th. Let's see. It's flatlined. Maybe there's another one I can look at. Okay, this is all the way up to the 9th. Well, there's no reduction in difficulty whatsoever. No reduction in difficulty. So I think this is fake news. I don't see any reduction in difficulty during this time today. This is October 27th, 29, 28, November 9th. Nope, no difficulty whatsoever. There's nothing here so far. Nothing recorded yet. So, okay, well, maybe that's a dud. So that's a dud. Let's see here. CoinCodex. See if this shows up here. So let's take a look at the CoinCodex real quick. And I'm going to look at Segwit2x futures, see what they are. Okay, here they are. Let's have a look. It's $325. Is that right? $325. Yeah. There's no chart. Okay, finally a chart's showing up. Wow, it's actually picking up. Last time I saw it, it was what was the low here? The low was almost. Let me see, $163 was the low, and now it's 346. People are still trading this. This is crazy. Okay, I'm not going to argue. People want to do that. Let's look up Bitcoin Gold. Yeah, let's look up Bitcoin Gold. Let's see what's happening with Bitcoin Gold. Bitcoin Gold looks like is ticking up. Bitcoin Gold is ticking up now. Interesting. Going up. It's starting to trend up a little bit. Okay. All right. Let me look up Bcash. See what's happening with Bcash. Well, dual overhead camness, I am a little angry. You know why? Because I expected people to follow through on their word. If you can't trust business leaders who actually sign an agreement in New York City and not go through on their word, what has this world gone to? And I was expecting my free airdropped $2,000, maybe $3,000, maybe $4,000 worth of SegWit2x coins. I was expecting free money. I should be angry. I think this whole community should like sue these people because they didn't go through with it. Remember, they signed an agreement. That must mean something. So let's look at Bcash. And Bcash, yeah, it looked like it took a little dump and then it's trending back up, just like Bitcoin. Well, let's have a quick look at well, I'll do that a little bit later. I got a better chart to look at other than this. Let me just go back to the meme here. So what does this mean for the New York signers? This is a complete embarrassment. complete embarrassment to the New York signers. If they can't follow through on anything they say, this is a huge blow. Not that I was for it. I'm actually against it. So to hear the temporarily suspended SegWit2x hard fork, I'm just going to say temporarily suspended. I'm not going to say canceled. Everyone's using that word. When I see a whole bunch of people saying canceled, 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 a lot of YouTubers using canceled, I'm not too sure. It's too much of a coincidence. Either they're incentivized, or maybe they were told to use canceled, then their views would get bumped and whatever. I'm using temporarily suspended. That's what I'm using. So what does that mean for these people? Well, why would they stop? I'm thinking they would stop because they realize that they would lose money doing this hard fork. You know, a lot of exchanges have gone out of their way to prepare for this, to make statements. A lot of wallets were preparing for this. You know, a lot of businesses were preparing. There was also a lot of businesses that were preparing not to support SegWit2x. But the fact that these people bailed out last minute, it's good. It's good. The whole point of me doing this whole thing was to force the hand of SegWit2x supporters. I really didn't want this to happen. I don't want it to happen. I actually am glad I wish they would have done this sooner, but I'm glad they did it now than later, as you got closer and closer and closer and closer to the hard fork. And yes, it's embarrassing. Some guy bought almost $90,000 worth of SegWit2x futures. Wow. Wow. And anybody who bought futures on Bitphoenix, I know they're hurting too. They're hurting a lot. It's too bad. So anyways, this may look bad for those people that signed the New York agreement, but you got to remember, I think they realized they would not get the support. Doing the hard fork on November 16th as planned would cause major disruptions, which means loss of income, loss of money, even backlash if they didn't have enough support. And of course, you know they don't have support. The other thing I think is that the nodes that were upgraded to Bitcoin Core version 15 was also a factor, because there was a lot of people who were not going to support the 2x hard fork. They weren't going to even recognize that chain. So even if it did happen, they may not be able to offload their coins to anyone. They'll have coins according to their nodes, but they don't want to sell nodes to each other. They want to sell nodes to the rest of the community. I mean, they don't want to sell Bitcoins to each other. They want to sell the Bitcoins to the rest of the community. And so I think that was also a deciding factor. Another one was, and I think this may be the situation. I think in reality, they may not have had the hashing power. They may not have had the hashing power that they thought they had. So the scenario that SegWit2x would have 80 to 90% hashing power, and the legacy chain would have, you know, anywhere from 20 to 10%. Well, that was really inverted, perhaps. The reality was that SegWit2x only had 20 to 10% maybe 30% at most, and the legacy chain had 70% of the hashing power. So that might have been also another reason. So they knew they couldn't really pull it off at this time. And if you've seen my previous episodes, you could tell that there was going to be a huge delay in time. Even at 30%, which is about 33 minutes, that would be a 2 to 3 day. You'd be 2 to 3 days behind. Yeah, about 2.5. You would be about 2.5 days behind on the very first day of the hard fork. So if they knew that they wouldn't have the support, the economic support, and the hashing support, right away they would not be considered Bitcoin, because by their own definition, they wouldn't be the longest chain with the most accumulated difficulty, so they wouldn't be considered Bitcoin. And the possible chance that they may be, I wouldn't say reorganized, I would say dropped, because because of the nodes were not able, if there were more Bitcoin Core nodes version 15 that didn't recognize the SegWit2x chain, then they could not sell their coins to the community. And I think they knew that. So what worries me is that they did suspend the hard fork. I'm just going to say suspend. I'm not going to say canceled. And in a future date where the transaction fees are very high, the mempool is very full, this hard fork may be revisited again. So keep that in mind. It's not over. The fact that there was no battle does not mean that it's a victory. It just means that nothing was decided. Nothing was decided. Nothing decisive happened. So anyways, let me go into okay. This is crypto. Okay. Let me get into this here. So let's go look at the fees right now. Let's look at the fees. All right, so let's take a quick look at the fees. It's getting high. It's definitely getting high. It's varied, but it's starting to pick up because there's more transactions in the mempool. Average fee, the fastest and cheapest transaction fee is 300 satoshis, people. 300 satoshis. So you're looking at right about here. The range would be, to get into the next block, seems to be 120 satoshis to pretty much almost 330 satoshis. So it's a big range. So it's not that bad. But I just took a look at the mempool, and the mempool is starting to build up again. Oh, you want Brian back? Well, I kind of want to give Brian a little break. It's kind of like the holiday, and he does other stuff. I mean, he still contacts me and everything, but you know, I think it's the holidays. He's involved in nonprofit. He probably has to do some fundraising, and so I just want to give him a break. And so I'm just going to go ahead and just do this. If he wants to come on, I'll ask him if he wants to come on. But for the most part, you know, he's probably busy, and I know the holidays are coming up, and I probably won't be doing this every day now. If it is true that the Segwit2x hard fork is suspended. And so, okay, so let's take a look at the mempool here real quick. We're at 20,000. So we picked, there's an uptick in transactions. Now, maybe it's people who are leaving the exchanges now that the hard fork is not going to be happening. Maybe, but the fact that the transaction, the mempool, has never gone down below 5,000 transactions, you know, fees are probably going to increase. SegWit, let's have a look here. Let's take a look at the SegWit. Let's take a look at the SegWit graph here real quick, and then you'll notice that it's at 10%. Let me see since activation. It's climbing, but it's off its high of almost 18%. So here's the time of B gold, and then slightly the time of Segwit2x possible hard fork coming up here. And then today, the news of Segwit2x cancellation, it's gone down. So what's going on? Well, I'll keep an eye on this because Segwit transactions are supposed to be faster and cheaper, and it's supposed to reduce fees. Now that there is no Segwit2x hard fork, we'll see if this increases or decreases, and we'll see how the fees are going to, what the fees are like. Because right now, you're probably paying $3 to $4 on a 300 Satoshi transaction for a simple 224 byte transaction fee. Now, that's just like how it was before SegWit came about. We'll see. And then, what's another one? Crypto Daily. So let's look at cryptodaily.net and let's take a look at the timer. So no one told Crypto Daily that the countdown is over. There you go. It's still counting down. No one told Crypto Daily that the Segwit2x activation was suspended. So 7 days, 8 hours. There's no way to verify until it actually the time passes and this ends. All right, so let's go on to the chart analysis real quick. Let's see what happened today. So it's a red candlestick. Let's see what happened today. Well, first of all, let me make my lines here. That's the first thing I'll do is I'll make this a big overhaul. All right. Oh, look at that. It hit that, just staying right above that line right there. It actually looks pretty darn good. Let's have a look at the hourly, see where we are. All right, so it's staying above this line right here. This long-term trend line hasn't broken it. Let's see where it's at right now. It's about 100 is where this trend line is, right here. And I could give you an idea what possibly happened as you see the spike up in price. I was in the morning, I was working out at the gym. The high of I can't even read that. $788. That was the high. It made an all-time high, another all-time high. So when the news came out that Segwit2x was suspended, the price jumped. Now, I think those were all the shorts getting squeezed out, and people were long. Of course, if they were long, they probably took out profits, and now all the long margins got squeezed out. Because if you know how exchanges work, they make money when you get knocked out of your position, when you get a margin call, when you're forced out of a trade, okay? When every time you push a button to buy or sell, or every time it activates a buy or sell, the exchanges are getting a cut. And so what you saw was whipsawing, where basically if you were short, you were right about the price, but you got your margin called. And if you were long, you were also right, but you got your long margin called. And where are we right now? We're pretty much at the same price, very close at the same price of $7,369. Not that much different from right before where this was. Maybe what, $100 difference, which is nothing at $7,000. So that's kind of what happened. But when I look at it overall, it's above the overall trend line. If it breaks below that trend line and makes a new lower low, and it's got to make a low below this right here. Let me see here. What price is that? The low is $6,922. So basically, if it goes below $6,922, that's when I would start worrying about the price going down. The fact that it did make another higher high, but it did not stay up there that long. But it's still below this range here in this area. Could this be the reversal trend? Maybe. Maybe. It's all going to depend. So the question is now, how united is the community going to come together? Let me see here. Let's see here. Sorry about that. Okay, so is Mike Belshe, Wentz Carceres, Jihan Wu, Jeff Garzak, Peter Smith, and Eric Voorhees, are they going to come together and unite? Are these Segwit2x supporters, are they going to come together and unite? That's the question. It doesn't seem like it, a mailing list, because they mentioned that when the fees get too high and the mempool gets clogged, we're going to come revisit this idea of increasing the block size again. So this is all going to depend on them. We'll see if how much they follow through. So right now, has the price changed anything yet? Not quite. So the question now is it gonna break between those two lines? It's already made a higher high. Technically, but you're gonna have to watch. Is it gonna break below between these two lines? So it has to break and be high enough, at least go over the previous high, which is at 76 something, 7600, and then watch it if it goes below this line, which is around 6800. So if it breaks above this, expect the price to go even higher and break this high, break this. Oh, let me see here. Oh, God darn it. There it is. So expect to break this high. Expect to break this high as well. So once it breaks this line, expect it to come close to this line and actually go above it. Right? If it breaks below this, then I think you can say that at least in the short term, it's trending down, and we may be in a bear market, or we may be starting into a bear market. Well, people say they don't care about fees. Then that's not true, because I use Bitcoin and I care about the fees. The reason I care about the fees is because I know that every Satoshi is going to be worth a lot in the future. So I want to spend the least amount to send my Bitcoin. And people say they're not using it as a cryptocurrency. Well, I could tell you that other people are buying Bitcoins from me, and they're using it. Although I may be a hodler in the end, a long-term investor, the way I've made my Bitcoins, or I've created my Bitcoins, was basically through arbitrage. And so I can't say that nobody cares about the fees because they don't use it as currency yet. But I do think people do care about fees. If you trade enough, if you transact enough, you're going to care about the fees, because $10, $8, $6, you do enough transactions, they do add up. Now, I'm fortunate where, because my frugalness, my eagerness to learn why the transactions are high and how I can control that and mitigate, I use Coinbin for an example. I use Coinbin to send multiple transactions at once. That saves me money. So I've learned how to use multiple transactions or multiple address under one transaction to save me money. I've experimented with it. If you see some of my donations I gave, I've sent out 18 different addresses with 3 cents, 600 Satoshis, and they average out to be less than 1 cent each if you count the address. Who do I know? Dual Overhead Camnist asks, who do I know that lives on Bitcoin? I don't know anyone personally that lives on Bitcoin, including myself. I don't live on Bitcoin per se. I do is I use Bitcoin to create more Bitcoin, and I use at least the money part to live off of. So I guess you could say I kind of live off. Uh, I don't necessarily live off of it, but I do use it for expenses. And so, it's hard to live 100% completely, but Bitcoin is just another tool for me. It's an investment vehicle. It's a way for me to arbitrage, and it's also a way for me to store my wealth. And holding Bitcoin has been the best thing I've ever done. How you doing, Fud Machine and Neo Geo? Good to see you in here. I I so it's worked out for me. It's worked out for me because I've been involved since 2013. I rode the first time. I rode the boom going up to 1200. I rode the bear market going down to, almost $200, and from there I'm riding the bull market again up to 70, was it 78, 88 all-time high. And so, you know, if you have a long-term goal, or if you stay in this game long enough, if you stay in this game long enough, uh, you will make money. You will make money. It's not when you get in, or it kind of is about a little bit when you get in, but most importantly, it's how long you've been in. How long you've been in. And if you rode out one boom and one bust cycle, that teaches you a lot. That taught me a lot. And so going through this boom cycle, I know so much. I've learned my mistakes. You could say I paid my dues in getting scammed, in taking losses. All right. Um, so this time, hopefully, there's only, time is the most precious thing that you have in life, because you're not going to be, there's only so many boom and bust cycles you're going to go through in your lifetime. And these boom and bust cycles, if you think about it, every 3 to 7 years, these things happen. Well, half your life, you're learning about life, and then the other half of your life, like half your life is now gone. Half your life you spent learning about life, like understanding how things really work in physical world. Now you're at the half point of your life, and you got the other half of your life. So what is that? Maybe 40 years. So let's just say half your life, you know, 40 to 30 years, you're learning about everything, how things really work. Now you only have another 30 to 40 years. So you got 30 or 40 years to go through another boom and bust cycle. That only gives you about what, five to 10 more boom and bust cycles. So that's what you have. And really, even less than that. So you really got, what, maybe three to maybe 7 boom and bust cycles to go through, because you're going to be earning and spending during that time as you get older. So you got to make do with what you have. If I would have known what I knew now when I was very, very young, I would essentially be more wealthy, I believe. So yes, time is life's enemy. You think you have all the time in the world. You don't. Time may be infinite, but your life cycle is not infinite. And it's a shame that people waste a lot of their time on trying to actually make money, trying to make money when they should really take advantage of that time and let time make money for you instead of you working for the time to make money, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm not a billionaire or a millionaire or anything, but my short time in Bitcoin has taught me tremendously. So, anyways, so let me take a look at the chart overall. Let's go over through it real quick. So let me back up to the 12, and it's still looks good. Look at the 12, and it's still riding. If you look at this moving average, it's still riding this moving average. It's still riding this moving average. It's bouncing up between these two, within this channel. But the price, if you look at it at a technical level, and not on a 1-hour chart or a daily chart or 3-hour or week, if you go through all the time frames, you get a better idea. And so this thing is still riding on an uptrend. It's still telling me it's going to go up. Let's go on a 1 day. See, even on a 1 day, it's still riding this average. It's a weighted average. It's a 10-period average. But if you look at it, it's still riding it. So there's nothing here that's indicating to me that the price is going to crash just because the hard fork has been suspended. The technicals don't tell me that. Actually, the technicals don't even show that to me at all. So I'm not even sure if the hard fork really mattered. I think it really impeded everything. Let's go to 3-day and just check it out. 3-day may show some weakness, but the fact that it's still a green candlestick, wick on top. When I see wicks, when I see this, it kind of depends. If you studied dojis, I guess they call them dojis, candlesticks. I don't like red hammers, but if you see a green hammer, that's usually a bullish sign. Now it depends. A lot of people interpret candlesticks a different way. Hey, yellow fever for you. It's been a while. How you doing? Oh my goodness. I thought you were dead. Wow. Since yellow fever's here, here, yellow fever. Let me see here. I'm just going to go to you. There you go. Yellow fever. Here's the treasure hunt that you were telling me about. I do this in your honor. There is a QR code right there that leads to your channel, so people can check out your Bitconnect videos. and Yellow Fever, how would you like to donate at least $10 into the pot of gold? Since this is your idea, I can give away the third clue to the 24-word recovery seed. Unless you can crack the code. I'm going to give a clue. I'm going to give a clue to the code, okay? The code has something to do with yellow fever for you. The passcode does have something to do with yellow fever for you, all right? So I'm going to give you that one and only clue since yellow fever is in the chat. So if you think you know yellow fever for you, if you've been watching his videos, you should know the password to the encrypted private key. You should. Anyways, for you, yellow fever. Let me go back to the chart. All right, so where am I on the 3-day? Okay, so the 3-day, I'm looking at this as a green hammer. And when you see green hammers, that's usually means the price goes up. A long wick with a green body on the bottom, a green hammer versus a red hammer usually being bearish, a green hammer usually being bullish, supposedly. Okay, that's if you believe in that voodoo hoodoo stuff and reading candlesticks. Sometimes I think it's BS, but sometimes, when you see enough charts go through, There's something to it. There really is. And plus, a lot of people believe in this stuff. All right, a lot of people believe in candlestick reading, and if they see a green hammer, they'll buy. Just go figure. You know. Okay, let me go into the weekly. The weekly is a mix. It does look like a mix right here. There is a gap right here. If you see a gap between the moving average, there's a gap between the moving average and the candlestick itself, or where the spot price is. There's a gap here. So on the weekly, it does show some inconsistency, but it doesn't mean anything, because if you just look at, well, first of all, if it's a green candle, which if it ends up being green, it's good. If it ends up being a red candlestick, then I'd be a little bit more cautious. The other thing is that it's above this long-term trend line. Matter of fact, let me remove some of these lines. So if you look at that candlestick, you see that it has not gone below. It's actually stayed above, or you can even say it's hit this trend line right here. This long trend line. That's basically the top channel right here. Look at that. This trend line right here. It stayed above it. And if it continues to stay above it and it becomes a green candle, I do expect a $10,000 target price. So I do expect a $10,000 target price, even despite the fact that SegWit2x is not going to happen. It's been suspended. You can't argue with the trend. You can't argue with technical analysis. I mean, I guess you could. Some people say it's topping out, but a price above that line, are we overdoing it? Maybe. But this is Bitcoin. People FOMO. People buy into things. Anyways, we got the rest of the week to see what happens. But so far, as long as it stays above this line, I think it will continue to go up, even if it did pull back. And if it did pull back, it would pull back at around 6,100, whatever this line is, right? This average line right here, 60, yeah, somewhere around 61, 6,200. Even if it did pull back, it's still trending up, people. Still trending up. So you don't fight the trend, don't short it, because you'll lose out. Hello, Richie Rich. Good to see you. Yeah, yellow fever for you. You think this is all voodoo hoodoo, but you know, there is something to it. There really is. You know, people think that it's voodoo hoodoo, and to some degree it is, but you know, there is something to it. It sounds weird, but here's the thing: it's like a lot of people who do chart analysis, they all learned from probably paying somebody to teach them. There's a lot of information on the internet that you can get for free that talks about all these technical analysis. And so why people would pay money is beyond me, but you know, same reason why people buy, you know, hardware wallets when you can simply get a wallet generator and a $5 USB stick. That's just me. Hey, it's me, boss lady. How you doing? So this up here real quick. So that's my chart analysis. Look, the price is going up to like 75, 7,400. I think overall it's not a big deal what happened today. If anything, the price should be very, very bullish. SegWit2x hard fork is not happening. The price should be very, very bullish. That means there's no confusion. Everybody can come together under one Bitcoin now. That, you know, this Bitcoin right here. If the Bitcoin Cash people want to do their thing, let them do their own thing. It's kind of like, you know, people already consider them an altcoin. So let me get out of this here and go to the meme. So yeah, temporarily suspended. Temporarily suspended. That's what I'm gonna call it. I don't think it's over. Uh, the reality is, you know, it seems like in Bitcoin, nothing is over. Nothing is that simple. It always seems like there has to be an adversary at every corner. There has to be an opponent to strive to beat. I guess that's the way you want to keep a competitive edge. You've always got to have something to strive for. So just because it's been quote unquote canceled or suspended doesn't mean it's over. Your opponent, your adversary did not battle you, and there was no decisive victory. Just because, you know, your opponent or your adversary didn't come to fight you doesn't mean that you've won. It's just they didn't show up to fight the battle, so there was no battle, so there was really no victory. Winning by no show, winning by default is not really a victory. You need to, you know, come to a decisive conclusion, decisive victory, and to prove to the rest of the world that this idea was a bad idea. People hard forking on no replay protection was a bad idea. And not only that, it also shows if the hard fork happened, we would finally realize where the true hashing power is on which chain. All right. It would be definitive. There wouldn't be an argument. And I think that's the reason why the hard fork was suspended, temporarily suspended, because at this point in time, they're at a disadvantage. And so they're going to try again when the fees are insanely ridiculous. Now, if you thought $5 to $10 fees was ridiculous, wait until you get to literally $100 fees for a, you know, any transaction. Any transaction up to $100 will cost you $100. Could you imagine that? So at some point they're going to try again when the mempool is filled, and then the fees are very high. They're going to come back, and the sick part, all right, the sick part, this is the sickest part for me, is that we're going to beg. We're going to beg for a block size increase. The whole community is going to beg for a hard fork, all right, for a block size increase. That's what they're waiting for. That's when they're going to come back and say, do you want that block size increase? And we're going to say, yes, please. So don't lower your guard just yet. Be vigilant, and you know, stay on your toes and be aware and get educated. All right, learn about the technology and how it works. Excuse me. Anyways, this concludes this episode. I'm going to feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment after the live stream, or even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye-bye now.